Welcome into another video here on the channel. In this video, we're going to explore what a Rick and Negan reunion might look like. So let's talk about it. So at the end of episode 4 of The Ones Who Live, we see Rick and Michonne are on their way home, and we know they're not going to get there in this next episode. We've seen the trailer, and we know that some stuff's going to go down, and more than likely Rick is going to go back to the CRM, but his goal is to get home, and depending on what goes on with Dead City, he could encounter Negan again. And, I want to explore what that might be like, how that would go, and kind of tell you my thoughts on, on such a topic. And I want to, what would Rick think about learning all the things that Negan has done since he left, since Rick was taken away in the helicopter? How would Rick take all that? And what would this version of Rick, who's been through so much since he last saw Negan, what would he do if he just saw Negan, out of his cell? Would he go all murder Rick, or would he be able to accept Negan? So we can assume that it is a very long ride back to Alexandria. And there's a ton of stuff that Michonne can tell Rick about Negan, stuff that he's done that she knows of. And there's some things that I'm not quite sure if Negan knows, or if Michonne knows that Negan did. So if I'm wrong about this, you can correct me in the comments. And guys, it doesn't bother me. I'm not above being corrected. Now, I don't know if we will see this. I would love to see it because I'd like to see Rick's reaction to it. But, Michonne could tell Rick about the snowstorm and how Judith got lost, and how Negan saved her life. He went out into the snow. For one thing, he risked he could have been killed just leaving the line, that he was in, and because they could have thought he was trying to get away, but he goes and he rescues Judith, and he brings her back, and he saves her from being frozen to death. But there's so much more to tell, I mean, Carol could tell Rick about how Negan took care of Alpha, how he stepped up and went undercover. Negan did some. He definitely, he laid with Alpha is the best way I can put that for YouTube, and he definitely took one for the team there. But and then in the end, he finished her off. He took out that threat for our gang. In the final fight with the Whispers, Negan chose to put a mask on and go out, and ultimately help Daryl with, really not even help Daryl, because he didn't know Daryl was going to show up, but he took the fight to Beta. Negan also put himself at risk in the Reaper story arc. He went and he fought along with everyone. He fought alongside of Maggie. He fought alongside of Daryl, and they may not have made it through it without Negan. I mean, he did serve a purpose there, and he fought well alongside them. And let's not forget, when they ended up back at what was the outpost? I can't remember the outpost number. It was in the final season where the Commonwealth had taken over Alexandria. Negan was right there working with everyone else, and I understand King Ezekiel's point. He didn't deserve to be a father, but he was going to be a father, and when the guy, I can't remember the leader of the Commonwealth that was stationed there, when he found out that there was that there was some kind of a plan, he gave Negan a way out. Negan could have served up King Ezekiel. He could have served up anyone, but he chose to take that on himself, and as a result, he ended up on his knees in a lineup about to watch his pregnant wife die. I mean, he didn't want to put Annie in danger. He was willing to sacrifice himself for everyone else, just like Rick would do. And then, even after that, he decided, he chose to risk himself, leave his pregnant wife, and go take the fight to Pamela Milton and the Commonwealth. And, he was a big part of taking her down, taking the Commonwealth down, and making a change for everyone, for the whole, as we knew it then, the whole Walking Dead. Now, I have no idea how Dead City is going to go, but the way I remember Dead City Season 1 ending, it kind of made us think that Negan might be kind of headed back toward that old Negan, maybe to a kind of a bad place. I hope that's not so. I hope, because I don't want his redemption arc to be for nothing, but provided that he doesn't go that way, that the show, it was just kind of making us think that way in a cliffhanger, provided that he stays the Negan that we know right now. How do you think a Rick and Negan reunion would go? Let me know in the comments, and I'm going to tell you what I think, but I also like to read what you think. Okay, so I think if Rick didn't know all those things that we just talked about, I think if he saw Negan out of his cell, he might flip out and just put old Negan down. Maybe if he has his python back, just just take care of things. I have to be careful how I say word things on YouTube, but that head would probably tilt. He might even break out the old murder jacket, and you know where that would go. But if Rick does know all these things, if Michonne is able to tell him all these ways that Negan stepped up and how he helped out and how he saved Judith's life, I think that Rick would probably have the time in this way home to process all this stuff and realize that Negan did the things that he would have done had he been there. Negan protected his family. He protected his home. And, he didn't do it all by himself. There was others there, but, Negan was a part of all of that. And, Negan has changed. Now, I don't know how you feel about Negan. To me, he'll always be the character that killed Glenn and Abraham. And Glenn was one of my favorites. And I miss him, but I think the character Negan has brought a lot to the story. And let's forget the characters for a minute. Let's just talk about Jeffrey Dean Morgan. I mean, he's an amazing actor. So the show has benefited from Negan being in it, and of course, Jeffrey Dean Morgan. And I think you could even make a valid argument that Norman Reedus and Jeffrey Dean Morgan carried the show after Andrew Lincoln left. And you have to love those funny Neganisms, that kind of break the tension. He has so many good lines in the show. So let me know what you think. Do you think that a Rick and Negan reunion will happen? Do you even think that it'll happen, for one thing? Do you think Rick's going to make it back to Alexandria or, say, the Commonwealth? And if he does, will he see Negan? Will Negan ever leave New York City, from Dead City? Those things have to happen before these two characters will ever have any kind of a reunion, And if they do, say things work out, they align, these two characters cross each other's paths again, which side do you think it'll be on? Do you think it'll be Rick will and Negan will clash? Or do you think that Michonne will have told Rick and, other characters will have been able to tell Rick just how big of an asset Negan was to the rest of them and what Negan did, how he helped out and everything like that. Let me know what you think. Let me know in the comments. And I go back and forth. Sometimes I really like Negan and sometimes I really can't stand Negan. But I'm curious, what do you, in the comments, let me know. Have you forgiven Negan for his past? Do you forgive Negan for, for the things he's done and after you saw what he went through? Or does it matter to you? Will he always be the person that killed Glenn and Abraham? Let me know all that stuff, all your opinions. Just put them in the comments, and I love reading them. Well, guys, that's really all I have for you in this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did and you want to see more content, you can click the box on the left, and that will take you to my The Ones Who Live playlist, or you can sub and catch all my future content, or you can click the box on the right, and that will take you to one of my most recent uploads. Guys, I will see you in the next video.